He never chased the spotlight, but he quietly built some of the most beautiful basketball the game has ever seen. Rick Adelman has passed away at 79. On June 1st, the National Basketball Coaches Association released a statement. The membership of the National Basketball Coaches Association joins the NBA family in mourning the passing of legendary head coach and Hall of Famer, Rick Adelman. Adelman went from an NBA role player to one of the winningest coaches in league history. He finished his career with 1,042 victories, ranking 10th on the NBA's all-time wins list. The Kings teams that played some of the most beautiful basketball ever seen. The 22-game winning streak he helped create in Houston, and his quiet belief in movement, trust, and team-first basketball will forever be remembered in basketball history. Adelman's basketball journey began with a relatively modest playing career. In 1968, he was selected by the San Diego Rockets in the 7th round with the 79th overall pick. Influenced by the hippie culture that swept across America during the 1960s and 70s, Rick sported an Elvis-inspired hairstyle and long sideburns during his playing days. Over a brief 8-year NBA career, he played for 5 different teams. He averaged 7.7 points per game. After retiring, Rick thought he was going to spend his life coaching high school basketball. Instead, while coaching at a community college, Rick unexpectedly caught the attention of Portland Trail Blazers head coach Jack Ramsey. From 1983 through 1989, Adelman spent 7 years as an assistant coach with the Trail Blazers. During the 1988-89 season, he was promoted to head coach. Over the next 6 seasons, he led Portland to a regular season record of 291 wins and 154 losses. He also guided the franchise to the NBA Finals in both 1990 and 1992. But the chapter that left the deepest mark on NBA history took place in Sacramento. In 1998, Adelman became the head coach of the Kings. That was the beginning of one of the most beautiful eras of basketball the league has ever seen. He brought the Princeton offense into the NBA, an offensive system built on constant movement, ball sharing, and playmaking from every position. Under Adelman, it reached its fullest expression. Chris Webber and Vlade Divac orchestrated the offense from the high post. Jason Williams, and later Mike Bibby, controlled the flow of the game. Peja Stojakovic stretched defenses with elite shooting. Together, they became one of the most entertaining teams in NBA history. 7 players averaged double figures during the regular season. The way the ball moved through that offense remains unforgettable for longtime fans. In the 2001-02 season, Adelman pushed Sacramento onto the championship stage. The Kings won 61 games and finished first in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference Finals, they faced the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers and battled through 7 games. Game 6 of that series remains one of the most controversial games in NBA history. The Lakers attempted 27 free throws in the 4th quarter. The Kings attempted 9. Shaquille O'Neal shot 10 free throws in the period. Kobe Bryant shot 7. For many fans, that Kings team remains the greatest team that never won a championship. Even without a championship, Adelman had already cemented his place in basketball history. After leaving Sacramento, his understanding of the game continued to deepen. In 2007, he became the head coach of the Houston Rockets. There, he began a memorable and often heartbreaking chapter alongside Yao Ming. Adelman designed a motion-heavy system tailored specifically for the Yao and T-Mac era. During the 2007-08 season, it produced remarkable results. From late January through mid-March of 2008, the Rockets won 22 consecutive games. It remains the 3rd longest winning streak in NBA history. What made it even more remarkable was what happened afterward. Yao suffered a season-ending injury during the 12th game of the streak. Adelman adapted immediately. He increased the pace. He relied more heavily on perimeter shooting. Led by Tracy McGrady, Rafer Alston, Shane Battier, Luis Scola, and Dikembe Mutombo, Houston extended the streak all the way to 22 games. In 2009, Adelman guided the Rockets past Portland in the first round. Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady finally broke through the first-round barrier together. It was the first and only time Yao advanced to the second round of the NBA playoffs. In the Western Conference semifinals against the Lakers, Yao delivered one of the defining moments of his career in Game 1, but he suffered another major injury in Game 3 and was lost for the remainder of the series. Even so, the Rockets pushed the Lakers to 7 games before finally falling. It was one of the most courageous playoff performances in franchise history. During his 4 seasons in Houston, Adelman compiled a regular season record of 193 wins and 135 losses. His teams never had a losing season. Although injuries constantly limited the potential of the Yao and T-Mac era, Adelman's role in breaking Houston's first-round curse and helping Yao become the best version of himself remains deeply embedded in the memories of fans. Away from basketball, Adelman shared 56 years of marriage with his wife, Mary Kay. Together, they raised 6 children. Perhaps the most touching legacy of all is his son, David Adelman. Today, David serves as the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. Growing up around his father, David was immersed in basketball from an early age. At just 10 years old, he was already digging through game tapes in his father's office. David still remembers a summer league game in 1990. At 9 years old, he watched his father get into a heated argument with legendary coach Jerry Sloan. It looked like the two men might come to blows. Then later that day, after a nap, David woke up and saw them sitting together. They were eating fried chicken, drinking beer, and talking about basketball. In that moment, he felt like he finally understood what the game was really about. Now David Adelman continues to carry the Adelman basketball philosophy forward in Denver. Rick Adelman's legacy was secure long before his passing. In 2021, he was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. In 2023, the National Basketball Coaches Association honored him with the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award. The Kings released a statement saying, "His leadership, character, and vision helped define an era of Kings basketball that inspired our city and captivated fans around the world." The Rockets also highlighted the 22-game winning streak from 2008 in their tribute. It remains one of the most celebrated achievements in franchise history. The Trailblazers wrote, "Rick's basketball brilliance helped shape multiple eras of Trailblazers basketball, earning the respect and admiration of the basketball community and cementing his legacy." Rick Adelman is gone, but the symphony he conducted will never stop playing. In Sacramento, he created some of the most beautiful basketball ever seen. In Houston, he helped create one of the most memorable winning streaks the league has ever seen. And every person who loves this game will remember the quiet man on the sideline, calmly orchestrating greatness.